Hey Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Good, glad to hear it.
Sure. So what I'd like to talk about today is the Voltage Multistage 16, which will be shipping this month. I think in about 2 weeks we'll be shipping them out. So the Voltage Multistage is one of the original 5 modules that we released way back in 2014 when we launched the brand. And the concept behind that was that it's an 8-stage analog sequencer, but it has a bunch of unique functions that allow it to be used not just as a sequencer, but also as an LFO of pretty much any shape: triangle, saw up, saw down, square, pulse, and a multi-stage envelope of pretty much any length up to 8.
So it's like a sort of fancy function generator in a way.
With any of the stages as a sustain, there are enables, so you could have, for instance, LFOs that only play while a key is held, a voltage quantizer. So it, in a way, harkens back to the functions of the Buchla Marf, which was designed with the intention of being able to replace any voltage control function or control voltage generating function. But where I always felt like the Marf falls short is in the interface, because it involves a bunch of soft controls, like storing the settings for where the sequence is starting and ending, and where the range is, and enables and starts, and all of that stuff. It stores that in a RAM, and you have to step through the stages and engage these functions with switches, and then you don't have any visual feedback while it's playing. And so my dream was to take a lot of that functionality and then put all the controls onto the front panel so that it could be utilized in a live improvised free format. So over the years, a lot of times I was asked when I'm going to make a 16-stage one, and I finally caved to that, but I wouldn't necessarily say that what we've done here is to double the length.
It's just a double length, yeah.
I've gone back to the drawing board, and I changed the way that the core of the circuit works. So it's not really interesting to talk about circuits exactly. This is based on CMOS counters, and now is based on discrete transistor cells. But one of several things were made possible by the introduction of this new core type. One of the things is that now we have stage select inputs on the bottom. So if we put a trigger into any stage, we can jump right to it. And that means that we can also capture, we can jump from anywhere to anywhere, but then also benefiting from the fact that we have more stages, we can have multiple sequences up at the same time and jump between them at different points. We can, for instance, have a loop where we, at the beginning of every bar, we jump back to the beginning and then go into a loop, whatever you like. Or simply jump to different sections of the sequence from multiple triggers. Like,
are these fully variable? There's no quantizing going on.
There's no quantizing going on.
You do that externally if you wanted it.
And some of the functions, all the functions from the previous one are still there. Some of those are the fact that we have switchable. It's a little bit hard to hear, but slides on each step, and we can turn the stages on and off. And there's when a stage is off, it doesn't update the CV. It doesn't send out a gate, so hanging envelopes don't have the sequence leaking through. And another thing we can do is sending the second stage to the internal clock, and because the slides are actually not portamento
we've got variable tempo going on there.
Right now the second row is controlling the speed.
Okay.
So when the sliders are moved up, then the stages get longer, and the slides actually correspond to the length of those stages, even when they're changed. So that's how you could do multi-stage envelopes and voltage control.
Wow. So there's
like
there's a lot going on there.
And despite the fact that I have gone to 16 steps, which it's tempting to think that this is form-fitting for 16th notes in a 4/4 loop, because of the ability to jump to anywhere at any time and to have nested loops, I think that it also encourages breaking away from that format of 16 in a 16 step bar, and allow you to utilize those steps in more creative ways.
Right.
The second thing that's a change since the new version is that in the previous version, when you hold down the strobe button, the strobe would be updating the position based on the analog input or the analog control, which is used for jumping to certain stages during sequences. But if you hold the button down, then it latches into an analog address mode.
So you could just
But
scan.
the problem with the old version, whenever that mode was engaged, then the gate was always high. So if we were to, for instance, send in random voltage to make the stage select jump around, we're not getting any timing information about when those notes are turning on.
It's just a continuous
because the gate is always high.
Right. Okay.
But in the Voltage Multistage 16, the new core actually sends out a reset signal that resets the ramp of the internal clock, thereby generating the gates and the ramp from the ramp, and triggering then the slides and the
So I mean, using those sort of terms, I mean, in your set, which is kind of pretty hardcore minimal, what would you use that for a melodic line necessarily?
Well,
where would you generally sort of
for example, if you wanted to do like a Morton Subotnick style free form, completely free of the grid thing, like it now internally will generate that note stream that is untethered to any sort of grid.
Right.
Or if you would send a signal like here's a triangle wave. So now, unfortunately, that's as slow as I can get that to go.
But that's interesting. I was going to ask about this. So this is actually going quite fast. Can you get this to go so fast that you can almost draw an audio output waveform?
Yes, you can actually. You can actually use it as an audio oscillator if you wish, but the slide function uses pulse width modulation to do the. It's not the slide is actually crossfading from where you were on the last stage to where you are on this stage. Yeah. So the crossfader actually has filtering on it. So when you're at audio rate, especially because if you were sweeping across this whole thing in one wave cycle, then you're at 16 times whatever your frequency is. So you would filter out your wave pretty quickly if you tried to use the interpolated slide version. But if you bring the switches to the on position, then you can actually track it well up into audio.
That's just about to drop off the table.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. It also is 42 HP and extra thin, so it can be used. Here you're seeing it in the black box, which was the external enclosure that I developed for the Mini Horse a couple of years ago. and it has to be something like 20 millimeters or less.
So you could put it in a lid and flip it open almost if you had that sort of rackage and enough power.
Well, it's very, very thin. It doesn't. All the modules in the line are thin, but the majority of them have a power connector that's sticking out from the circuit board.
Yeah.
Whereas the mini horse, the sawtooth stack, and the Voltage Multistage 16 don't even have the power connector sticking out. That's like sideways in there, so it doesn't take up any space. So it's very extra thin.
So are you using this yourself live as well, or multiple versions?
Yeah, when I play tonight, I'll be using this with effects and a 909, and that's.
You go for the 909. You got.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you bring it everywhere?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So 909 modular classic lineup.
Yeah, I don't know, like 35 countries around the world or something.
Do you take? I mean, one thing. This is off-piste completely, but when you're working with the 909, because most of the time that sound is processed. Do you go raw? Do you stick with the raw sound, or do you?
It sounds so amazing on a big sound system
without any processing.
It's untouchable. Like, I'm not really clear on why that is, but it feels when doing it, it feels like a night and day difference. Like playing a recording of it versus playing the real thing. There's no like science that can back this up, but it's just something about that raw sound right in that just really works.
Interesting.
But I use like reverb and delay and stuff, but
nothing else.
Nothing. No compressors or anything.
Wow. Okay. And you're playing tonight at the Saturday night show, right?
Yeah. The official after party thing is. I don't know what they call it, but yeah.
Nice. Let's say it's called the Machine of Bristronica after party, right?
Perfect.
That sounds pretty good. So is this out now? Available? Are you shipping?
It's we've built them, but we were a bit delayed on the front panels, so we have them ready to marry the front panel to them and go out the door, which I believe that they're going to be here in the next 2 weeks. So
okay. Oh, cool. And have you got a rough idea price? I mean, euro price? Do you know where it's going to be yet?
I'm afraid to go on record with the wrong number.
Where's the best place to find out then? Let's go that way.
Yeah, Schneider's Laden maybe.
Yeah.
We're distributed through Alex 4, so.
So Schneider's Keller, Schneider's Laden.
And actually they're already like gauging interest in taking pre-orders. So if you have a local dealer that you buy from,
just let them know.
Mention to them that you're interested, and like let's get them out there.
Great, thank you very much, Mark. Have a great gig.
My pleasure.